Here we go again. Seems like just yesterday I started this shit. I don't know what that is. Can't even read my own chicken scratch. Audio. Track 3. Dummy. Dummy. All right, here we go.
Are you just trying to navigate adulthood in a world that still expects you to have it all figured out? Welcome to This Is 50 with your host, Travis Holmes.
I'm so tired. So tired. I forgot to print this out, so give me 1 sec. I forgot to print out my cheat sheet. And you're saying, well, why are you tired? Travis, you don't do anything. I do a lot. I do a lot around here. Bear with me as the printer spits out this cheat sheet for me on what I'm going to talk about today. So because I didn't do a show on last Friday, I did a double banger this week. I did 4 different shows. I do a horse show on Monday. I did this show on Tuesday. Did I do this show on Tuesday? I do the Deacon Live show, that one behind me right there. And then Thursday I took a break because I had to do all the editing for all the videos and stuff, blah, 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 blah. I know, what was me. Now here we are back on Friday, back on track. But here's the thing. This Wednesday, I am flying on a jet plane, MAX 737, MAX 8 Boeing, to Washington, D.C., I think we got like a 2-hour delay. And then I got a 4.5-hour flight to Vancouver, Canada. So that's where we're going. So I know you're going to miss, I don't know, how many weeks is that? I'm sorry. I know you're like, hey, you just came back on. So if I leave on this, you're going to miss 2 weeks. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. I'm not going to make it up to you. I got no shit going on. I got other shows going on too as well, but I'll do a special show. Maybe, well, here's the thing. Let's put it this way. If you're going to miss me that much, I appreciate it. You know, I feel very loved. Go to the This Is 50 Facebook page. Looks just like the icon right here on the YouTube video if you're watching us on YouTube. And there are a lot of people out there that watch us on the YouTube video. There are also a lot of people watching us on the short videos. I take the whole entire podcast and dice it up in, little bite-sized pieces, and you guys can enjoy it that way. I get a lot of response from people on the shorts, too. People going, they want to see my blood thumb. So that's my blood thumb. Some guy responded about, drill press. I'm like, I don't even know how this happened, but it happened. So I say that I'm tired. This weekend, we're packing and everything, but for the last 3 weeks, I have been running before noon, 12 o'clock. Because when 12 o'clock hits, 12 o'clock, this starts the day. So I get up, go down and feed the horses here. We have 22 some odd acres. We have a whole bunch of animals here on the property. We have a whole bunch of show horses, so I got to keep them in shape. And I go down and feed the horses. And then, speaking of staying in shape, I'm getting ready to go on this cruise. Now, it's not one of those booze cruise or anything. We're going to Alaska. So it's not like we're in our swimsuits. I think the high temperature is going to be like 60 degrees on average. And the low temperature at night is 40 something. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be lovely. But we are going to be doing a lot of walking around. Now, as you guys know, I rarely leave the property only to get groceries and hay and feed and stuff. But other than that, my butt is sitting right here in the studio, right behind this microphone, right in front of this camera, talking to you guys on one show or another. So I don't get a whole lot of quote unquote normal exercise. My phone, my new watch phone or whatever this, health fitness thing that's connected to, you can see, so we'll talk about this right here later. I'll tell you what happened there. It always, does a whole vibrate thing, hey, time to get up and get moving. Not next time. Edit. Hey, hour goes by. Time to get up and get moving. Next time. So I got tired of it doing that. So about 3 weeks ago, I took it upon myself to go for a walk. Get out of the house. Because normally I was killing time anyways until I had to be up in the studio at 12 o'clock. So, clean the kitchen, from breakfast and everything, wipe everything down, load the dishwasher. My dad runs the dishwasher once it gets full. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go out my driveway. My driveway is probably about 50 yards to the main road. It's a 2-lane country road. And we don't live in a neighborhood or anything like that. Take a left and I go down probably 100 yards and there is a cul-de-sac neighborhood behind us that they're just starting to build. I think they only have like 5 or 6 houses on it now. They'll probably have a total of maybe 20 houses. And when I say houses, these houses sit on like 3 acres each, so it's not like, your downspout, 8 feet of grass, and then your neighbor's downspout, right next to each other. Now, these are good sized houses. I think they started about $750,000. I know, baller. Well, they did it. They're the ones who are building those houses. And I can see every single one of them on the backside of our property. So I go down there because there's no traffic. There's no nothing. It's peaceful. It's quiet. I've got, amber waves of grain on one side of the road where they haven't, knocked it down yet. And then the other side of the road, just a little construction here. They're building, I think they got 2 houses going up. But it's a slow process. It's not a whole lot of traffic. So I do a down that road, hit the cul-de-sac, and back up to the main road and down the road. If I do that 3 times and walk back to my house, back 100 yards, and then down my driveway and then into my garage, automatically when I go grab my water out of the refrigerator, yes, water, I do drink water. Map My Ride or whatever the app is called goes destination 3 miles, average speed, whatever it is, and total time, blah, 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 blah. Now, the reason why I say that is because when I first started about 3 weeks ago, it took me 59 minutes to walk those 3 miles and then back to the house. Totality. I am at the point now, just to give you an update on my progression of said walking. I jog. I'm getting stronger, getting stronger. I'm like going, you know what? I think I can pick up the step a little bit, pick up the pace a little bit. So I'd run, maybe 50 yards, 100 yards, and then stop and walk. And you're like going, well, can't you just run? No. That road goes like this. It goes down, 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 cul-de-sac, and then up, 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 up. This is not like a straight flatland, in Nevada type deal. These are, the road gradually pitches down and then pitches back up and so on. So I'm pretty proud of myself. I am now between a fast-paced walk and a jog. I say jog. It's more like shuffling my feet. But I got a little bit of a stride going. My arms are swinging. I'm getting it out there. 51-year-old guy. I'm getting it out there. I'm getting it done. I'm breaking a sweat. And now I went from 59 minutes or whatever I told you in the beginning of it takes to once I leave my garage and coming back to the garage. It now takes me 44 minutes. So I have shaved almost 15 minutes off my time in the combination of every day doing that, going out there and just working at it. Just got to get a little better, get a little stronger. And I'm seeing not results. Of course, my weight has gotten, lower down. I'm trying to get back to my fighting weight. What's that, Trav? We can get into that. It's not falling off as fast as I want it to, but I start with a high protein breakfast and a high protein dinner. I'm not eating a whole lot of fiber. Maybe that's my problem. I'm staying away from, I eat peanut butter, like peanut butter with a little bit of chocolate syrup on it for night. That's my midnight snack. No, I'm not doing the Whole30 anymore. My wife, I'm going to do the Whole30. Nope. I know the end of that book. I've already read it twice. But I try to stay on that path, try to stay away from sweets and sugars and stuff. And I'm doing good. I feel better. My legs are fucking sore, so I'm tired. I'm beat. I'm exhausted. I can't wait to go on this trip to Alaska and get the big drink package and have a good time and see some. They say the whales are mating out there somewhere in the Alaska front. So it'll be a good time. We're going to spend two and a half days in Vancouver and then jump on the barge. Hopefully it doesn't sink or hit an iceberg. take that around for about 8 days, 5 ports of call, and come back and probably be as fat as ever. So you're going to miss me for a couple, 2 weeks, but I will be posting stuff over on the This Is 50 Facebook page. So make sure you like us over there. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next because my paper's over there. So I'm going to take a little break and I'll be right back. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend. And when we were booking hotels for, the following week coming up, she's like, oh, it might be a special event or something out there because the hotels are so expensive in Vancouver. And I was like, and I've talked about this before, 2.5 nights was almost $1,000. But we're in the heart of downtown Vancouver. And she's like, my wife goes, oh, because it's Memorial Day weekend. I go, I don't think they do Memorial Day weekend in Canada, babe. What? Oh, yeah, I guess they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. And one of the things that she had a problem with was, is this Canadian dollars or is this, when you pull it up on hotels.com or whatever, is this Canadian dollars or US dollars? I go, I don't know. Does it say USD or does it say CAD? Think about it. That's what it is. She's like, no, it's USD. I said, all right, well, go ahead. We have to go. We're going. The plane's already bought. The trip is already bought. The boat ride. We just need a place to stay. All right, well, we'll go here. It's got 3.5 stars out of 5. There's not a whole lot of 5-star places in there, but it's a historical place on Canadia's term. But we have this Memorial Day weekend coming up. So my wife goes, what are we going to do this Memorial Day weekend? I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on groceries because we're going to be gone for 2 weeks and, it drains our account. Now she's worried about money. And, we're not going to be here. We don't need to have all this food sitting at home. Buy some stuff that your dad can eat on for a little bit. I normally make some kind of big deal or a big meal that he can eat on for 4 or 5 days. Then he gets bored with it and goes bad. But I said, well, I saw these I broke my own rule. The fucking smash burgers, But I saw smash tacos. I go, well, you know what? I could do that. I could do a smash taco. And the recipe is, get your pens and papers out, kiddies, is you get those little street wraps, little street-sized tacos. It's just a tortilla about the size of a, I don't know, like a quart. You know what they are. They're small. I mean, they're real small, like maybe 4 or 5 inches across the top. And you put a little cheese on it and you smash whatever ground beef you want on it. And then you flip it over and cook it. And then you flip it back over. And you got to be careful with tortillas, man, because tortillas, if you cook them too long, they become crackers. And then you're like going, you fold the thing in half and snap. Oh, fuck. Everything's on the floor. So we're going to do smashed tacos. You put a little taco seasoning on the meat, and then you do your tomatoes, your cilantro, green onions, jalapenos, whatever you want. Typical taco dressing stuff, lettuce. I said, how are we going to do this? Because I don't want to do them on the grill. Now, we have a real nice Weber grill, propane grill. It's got the grates and stuff like that. And every video I see with people doing those smash burgers and stuff is on, what are they called? Blackstones, something like that. Where did they fucking come from? Was there a TV series or a movie or something that had these things in the movie? And it was like going, oh my God, I gotta have those. Or is there a cooking show that I miss? All of a sudden, these Blackstones, these big, huge, flat top McDonald's, flame broiled, not fried, in your backyard. Where did these come from? And people are doing crazy stuff with them. You don't see them do them with the normal grates and the propane and all that. I said to my wife, do you think the propane grill is gone? Well, with the grates, because the Blackburn, whatever it's called, works out propane. And it's got 4 burners and it heats up and it's got, high and low zones and stuff in there. I said, is your traditional grill with the grates and everything gone? Do people do those anymore? She's like, I don't know. And I got to thinking about it. I go, not for nothing. They can say they have porcelain grates and they can say they have stainless steel grates. And, You can, if you clean them and do all this stuff. I have never had a grill other than like day number 1 where nothing sticks to it. I have put, from olive oil spray to butter spray to nonstick spray, Teflon spray, every single time, especially homemade hamburgers. I love homemade hamburgers. You put a homemade hamburger on there. If you're not paying attention, you go to flip that thing over. It breaks right in half. It just snaps. And then half of it falls down in between the grates. Oh, this will be the baby's hamburger. Who's the youngest one here? Timmy? Yeah, this is yours. This is all you get. It's so small. It's okay because you're a small little boy. But that's the hamburgers on the, we've had this Weber grill. And it does take a little bit of, I've got a big, nice metal spatula with a, on one side, it's kind of rigid. Like if it was a knife of some sort, it's not sharp, but it's just it's got teeth on one side. So you can physically take it and saw it off the friggin' grill and unstick it from there and flip it over. And when you flip it over, the thing falls and snaps in half. And you're like, God damn it. This fucking family sucks. This grill sucks. Everyone sucks. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And that's what happens. That's why most people fight at picnics, because the goddamn grill hamburger breaks through. But these Blackstones, man, they look nice. And they're not expensive either. Now, I've seen the whole setup where they've got the whole Blackstone cooler with the Blackstone this. It's kind of like the Yeti stuff. And everyone's got, the Blackstone, the official Blackstone spatula, where you look like a short order chef at Waffle House or something like that. It's like 4 inches wide and it's real long. You're ding, 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 like a hibachi restaurant. But that's what it is. It's like this big hibachi hot top. And people are cooking crazy stuff on it. So I said to my wife, we're going to do these smash tacos. I said, are we going to do it on the grill? Because I know as soon as I flip that motherfucker over, I'm going to lose it. It's going to fall through. It's going to fall apart. But I don't know if a lot of you guys remember this. My mom always had one, but one of those tabletop griddles. You do pancakes, if you got the kids for the weekend, dad, and but you know what I'm saying. Every other weekend, dad, you got a griddle on top and you're doing the pancakes on it and you're flipping it and you're doing the whole bocce thing, but you got the little griddle. And the griddle's about the size of, a normal keyboard. I'm looking at mine right here. I said, we should do them on the griddle, babe, because it's like a small version of the Foreman, the whatever, Blackburn, I've called it so many names, I forgot what it's called now. She's like, yeah, we can do it. Yeah, sure, no problem. Like it was nothing. Yeah, you're cooking it. I don't care what you do. So I'm thinking in my mind to do these smashed tacos on the little griddle. We can get about 3 on there, 3 or 4. It'll make enough for me and my dad. Well, I'll let him eat this time. No. He'll be fine. So speaking of my dad, I yelled at him. I didn't get to it on my last show, but I yelled. I'd say I yelled at him. I called him out. And what happened was, and I feel bad. I say I feel bad only because I know these conversations, as I was growing up, he's had with my uncle. Now, just a small, if you've listened to from day one of this podcast, you know that you've heard the stories of me talking about my Uncle Jim. My Uncle Jim was home enough times. He was my mom's half brother. And when their family died and he was left by himself, my dad said, hey, you can move into our house. And I was small, 2-3 years old. So I always grew up with Uncle Jim in the house. Now, Uncle Jim had a small little room, and that was his room. His job was to clean the kitchen. His job was to go to work. He had a job. Uh-oh. Let me turn that down. Let me turn it down and off. Start with that first. And my dad not would treat him badly, but he had certain rules. And if he didn't follow the rules, that he would get not yelled at, because my mom was always, always the buffer between the two. And he was retarded. He was slow. He wasn't retarded. He was just slow. He's a mental. You ask him what 2 + 2 was, and he had no idea what it was. But you ask him what day we had an addition put on the house back in 1974, and he'll go, oh, that was, June 9th and at 3:30, that type of stuff. So like autism, he's on the spectrum. So now my dad lives with me, and he doesn't necessarily have rules, but there's a certain etiquette when you're living in someone else's house. And the reason why I say that is because I've told this a million times, he leaves lights on all the time. Walks in the room, turns the light on, walks out of the room. Even if he comes back through that same room, lights are on. So I'm constantly click, 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 click. It's gotten to the point where I've put motion detectors on his side of the house. So he doesn't leave the hall light on when he comes out of his room. He doesn't leave the kitchen light on when he comes out of the kitchen. They click on, they click off. Now that we're getting into the hot season, we have on our back porch, huge back porch, we have huge 3 ceiling fans on top of in the roof where ceiling fans go. So they say. And he'll go out there and he'll sit and he'll listen to whatever podcast or watch whatever show on his phone and have a couple beers, and then he'll fall asleep, and then he'll wake up, and then he'll go inside and he'll leave the fans on all the time. Just leave them on. And I'm like, honestly, anyways, what got me was what the straw that broke the camel's back is our Samsung refrigerator has the Smart Things app on it. And I'm constantly getting alerts that the refrigerator door is open. Now, our refrigerator has the 2 barn doors up on top. It's got the cooler drawer in the middle where you can make it nice and cold or nice and, cool. And then you got the freezer down below. At least once a week, it's left open. And if I'm not home, we have the Alexa show right next to it. I physically have to type in, because he won't answer his phone. This is from Travis. Message from Travis. Please shut the refrigerator door. And then you'll hear, if it doesn't happen, I get another alert. Please shut the refrigerator door. God damn it. Then my wife will hear it in the other room. She's like, what the hell's all that noise? I don't know. My wife will shut the refrigerator door. So what happened was we lost power the other night. And one of the things I got was, I'm pointing over there like you're going to look at it. We got those lights that you plug into the wall socket. They're like a flashlight. So when the power goes out, they automatically click on. And I gave my dad one because we are out in the country and there are no street lights or no nothing. So if we lose power, you are hand in front of the face, can't see it. Unless you get the moonlights and the starlights. So power went out. So I run out of the studio, downstairs, across the mezzanine parking lot, upstairs to the back porch, and I can see the ceiling fans have just started to slow down. So he left them on again. So I run into his room. Of course, I had a couple, so my temper's already short. And I go, Dad, are you in here? Huh? Where's your flashlight? I don't know. Dad, you have to have this plugged in. Why? For this exact reason. So I've got one in my hand and my wife's running around with the other one. And I said, where's yours? He's like, it's up on top of his computer, never plugged in. This is where I broke down. I said, Dad, we are going to be leaving here for 2 weeks. If I cannot count on you to do the simplest little things when we're not around, you're just going to make my life a little harder than it already is. You are going to, I'm going to be worried about you, whether you're going to fall, whether you're going to leave, all the lights on. Another thing, he forgets to turn the sink off. So the sink will sit there and run and we're on a well, burn the pump out and come home. We lost water. Yeah. The refrigerator door open. You're leaving ceiling fan. I said, Dad, and I said, if you can't do this, Dad, we will find someone to come over here and babysit you. Do I need to do that? No. Okay. I said, this is bullshit. So, I know. And then the next morning I woke up and I go, what did I say to him? Fuck. I did say that, didn't I? One of those mornings, the scary mornings. And, I said one more thing to him, and I'm going to take a little break and come back. I'm going to let you digest that for a little bit and let me know if I'm right or wrong. I know a lot of you are going to go, no, you're wrong. It's your dad. You don't understand the background on that story. So I'm going to take a little break and come back because I want to buy some weed. And I want you to help me buy it. So stick around. I'll be right back. Did I do that right? Yeah. Looks like I did. We have a cat. I'll dive into this. You ready? If you're watching this on the video here. This right here. We have one of those cats that has adopted us type deal. And I gotta check something. Had to do a sound check there. Sorry. And it's a weird looking cat. It's smaller than the normal cat, but she's like probably 3-4 years old now. And just a whore. You know, it's not our cat. My wife, of course, oh, look at it. And so we call it Mini Me because we have a cat inside, looks just like her, larger, but this is a smaller version of my cat. It's like literally the runt of the litter. So she's gotten pregnant before, you know, hussy, and had cats in a box somewhere in the studio area downstairs. Downstairs is the garage, 3-car garage. So there's lots of boxes and stuff for her to hide. And she had some kittens and was going through the garage maybe last year or something. And I'm like, I found the kittens. They're, you know, all mummified. This is where they are. So we thought she was going to be a bad mom. She got pregnant again and had 3 kittens. I don't know if she learned from her lesson or is more mature now, ladies. And she had the 3 kittens and they're doing well. They're hopping and skipping around. But the mom would come up on the porch where we normally used to feed her and get the food, get the kibble, the water and the food up there. But the problem is our neighbors' cats, who are well-trained, you can pick them up and pet them and stuff, are coming over and eating the food. I'm like I said, she needs her energy. She needs to be fed, 3 or 4 times a day. And we only give her like maybe a quarter cup of food. I need to move this food bowl closer to where she has the kittens that are now bouncing all over her and stuff. They're cute. We named them Nacho, Pimento, and Queso. I always name my animals after food. That way when I have food, I can remember. So she comes out and she's got problems. She can't hear. She's got mites in her ear. Pick her up and take her to the vet. She's not our cat. I'm not spending any money on this cat. I will now that she's had babies and stuff. I don't need another, 4 or 5 cats running around. So I have to show her, hey, no, dummy, your food's over here type deal. And of course, every story, all the stories that I have start with this. And of course, after a couple of these, I said, well, let me grab her. My wife can pet her, but no one can really pick her up. And I picked her up one time, real quick, picked her up and set her over out of the way somewhere. So I said, I'll just do the same thing again. So I pick her up. And she's small. I mean, she's probably 8 pounds, 7 pounds, fuzzy, long-haired gray cat. And I start walking through the garage and bringing her to her cats and this new food dish. Well, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, that's my left arm. That didn't go very well. And for those queasy at heart, let me see how I can do this. This cut right here was almost completely in the bone. You can see this one's oozing already. And then there's one little bit right there. And that's a little bit better picture. There you go. There's a good picture of it. And it doesn't look bad, but look, you can see how swollen my finger is. Cat scratch fever. Right? Now I got to get the camera to focus back on me. Focus. Back on me. I'll do this. There we go. So my finger is all swollen up now. I've been, taking needles and poking it and kind of squeezing and peroxide. But that little cat, all of her claws came out, front and back. And she wrapped her hand and just spun like a pencil sharpener and just literally tore me to shreds, stuck her finger in there, split this wide open, got this right here. I think there's probably something in there. I don't know. And she's a rogue cat. So I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm going to get infection. Now I'm going to die of sepsis or something stupid like that. But I've been cleaning it and doing all that stuff. It hurt. I can't bend it. But this just happened less than 24 hours ago. So I'm planning on hopefully bending this here soon. Yeah, she fucking fucked me up bad. I was like, God damn it. My wife comes out. What's going on out here? I'm like, cat. What are you talking about, cat? Minnie Me fucking got me. She shanked me. I'm going down in the yard. Help me. Sound the alarms. Speaking of sounding the alarms. I know. I got, when I got mad at my dad, that was last week. You know, my wife's stressing me out about taking the flights and stuff. I'll get into the weed here in a little bit. But at the end of the day, when I'm done, I know my dad is going to make he's going to make his coffee in the morning at 5:30. I know he's going to make his breakfast at 6:20. It's okay. We're still asleep. But once the chores are done, he'll come out at 8:45 and have his second breakfast. He gets one of those frozen sausage, Jimmy Dean's, whatever, throws it in there. I'm like, yep, here he comes, right on time. And then he'll have his lunch at noon. I don't go in the kitchen, make sure he's got, carte blanche to the kitchen. And then I know he makes his dinner at between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. So I make sure that I'm out of his way. Follow me here. But in between all those periods, I think it's downstairs. I got like this 24-ounce sippy cup. Not a tumbler or Stanley cup, but, kind of something like that. And I drink lemon water with a little bit of cayenne pepper in it. It's good for the heart. That's what they say on TikTok, right? Good for the heart. So I'll go in there maybe 3 times a day. Twice in the morning before noon, because once noon hits, you know what happens. And then I'll make one before I go to bed. But every time I go in there to do the 2 to 3 times a day, as soon as I walk in that kitchen, he's at that door, coming out of his room, coming down the hallway to do the same thing I'm doing. And I'm joking with my wife. I'm like, there's got to be a button on this floor somewhere. There's some kind of alarm letting him know that we're in the kitchen. Now, we do have solid oak, white oak floors. They are, they squeak. It's a traditional farmhouse, so they go, so you can hear when people are moving throughout the house. And then this one night I had a bad day up here in the studio. That's impossible. No, it is. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that pisses me off with this stupid 2011 computer. Sometimes it doesn't want to do what I want to do. So I had a rough day. I know. I'm no police officer, but still. So I go in the house. I'm like, it's 6:45. I can make dinner. I can relax and, make my drink and stuff. As soon as I get in the kitchen and I shut the door and I start getting stuff out of the refrigerator to make myself something to eat, comes out of his room. And I literally took my cup and not slammed it, but it did make a loud noise. I went, bam. I go, how come every time I walk in the kitchen, you got to come out of that room? Well, Dad, no matter who comes in this kitchen, if you hear noise in the kitchen, you come out of that room. Well, I just need to fill up and he's got a tea, a smaller thing, 16-ounce tea thing that he fills up every now and then. I said, Dad, that's the joke, right? If anyone walks in this kitchen, you are in the kitchen. How come every time I'm in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, drinking up all the goddamn Kool-Aid? I said, can I just be alone and make my meal? Because I don't have to worry about walking around you and walking around this. Now, granted, we do have a huge island in the center of the kitchen, but I don't want to have to chase him around the island to get to the refrigerator. Again, next morning, woke up. Oh, what the fuck did I say? God damn it. But I'll tell you what. I feel bad, but here's the thing. I told you about Uncle Jim. growing up, he would get so upset at my Uncle Jim. And growing up, we had a galley kitchen. So it's, if you know what a galley kitchen is, that's what we had. There was not enough room for, 2 to 3 bodies in that kitchen. And he would make my uncle, my retarded uncle, my mom's half brother, leave the room and stand in the hallway until he was done in the kitchen. So when you say, oh, you need to be nice to your dad, no, you don't understand. My Uncle Jim, who basically raised me because my mom and dad were latchkey, I was a latchkey kid. We're off working. My dad was doing, double dealing and stuff. He was a loan shark. So all of his jobs and stuff were done under the neon light, of a bar or something like that. And that's the way things were in the 80s. And he would come home and be a little tipsy and stuff. And, wonder where I get it from, right? And he would make my uncle stand in the hallway until he was done with whatever he was doing. And then he'd leave and, all right, you can come back in now. I'm done. So what's the difference between me doing that with my dad and so the problem is my wife doesn't see it that way. My wife doesn't know that this is what I went through growing up. I've told her stories, but she's kind of like, well, you're older now. You're smarter now. It's still there. It's still there. What was me? All right. I want to buy some weed. When we come back, I want you to help me. All right. So stick around. I'll be right back. I can't hold a pen. It hurts to hold a pen. So I started this podcast about a year, I think in February, a year ago, February. And what are we, May now? So it's been a year and 2 months, 3 months, whatever the math is on that. I started the show with a gentleman by the name of Shane McManus. He was part of the show for a while. If you listen to the earlier podcast, you'll know exactly what happened. He has to take care of his daughter, who is literally, unable to take care of herself. And you can listen to the stories. I won't rehash it for you. But my mom passed away. And when my mom passed away, February of 2 years ago, I think that's pretty much why the show started. She had closets and closets full of medicine that it was autofill. She'd get a thing in the mail. She died of, she was on dialysis. She had the pump. She had diabetes, 15,000, whatever. She didn't take care of herself. She would eat a fistful of chocolate and then hit her little pump, her little insulin pump, go doo. Oh, look, I'm better. It counterbalanced the chocolate that I just ate. She didn't take care of herself, and then her body just basically shut down, and she passed away. But going through my mom and dad's house, big 4,000 square foot house. What do you need this house for? This is our nest egg. Cleaning out all the closets and stuff. I found some, True Leave stuff. And I'm like, oh, I think this is in Florida. I think this is medical. It's the oil. And there was a powder too as well. I said, I'm going to keep this. I'll keep this and try it at the house. Now you can listen to the past podcast. And when I actually tried it with my wife and I, it was not a good experience. And you can rehash that by listening to the past podcast. But here in North Carolina, I think it's medical only. And I think they just started doing that now. So we are technically, we have a blue governor. We're sort of a swing state for the most part. You do have the Bible Belt that runs through our waistband. But there are a lot of blue people in this state because it was, a slave state at one time. So you have a lot of Democrats out there that are a little bit more liberal. And we have a lot of college universities, UNC, North Carolina State. We have a lot of huge, big universities where, opinions and thoughts are created and outside the box type deal. But here's the thing. We are going to fly into Washington, D.C. Now, I know we're going to be in the airport. We're going to be in the airport for an hour and a half. But do I need some kind of card? Where are the recreational places where you can buy weed? I know, Colorado. Everyone's moving to Colorado. again, blue state there. you can smoke weed, but if you're, right winger or something like that, they'll drive you crazy. I had a good friend of mine and his wife moved out there to enjoy the ski lifestyle, and he's like, I can't. They spent like 2-3 years out there, and he's like, I can't do it. These people are fucking morons. I mean, he's diehard Marine, gun-toting American. He's like, yeah, we smoked weed and all this stuff, and then they start getting into politics, and I sit there and go around in circles with him, and he's like, I have to come home. And home for him and home for me as well is Florida. Florida's basically a red state. I need to get back to my peoples. But I'm asking you guys out there, can I, without a card, without a medical license or whatever medical thing that you have to buy marijuana? And when I say marijuana, we have CBD here. I don't know if that's a whole bunch of hooey. I bought a couple. I was getting some tires put on my farm truck, and there was like a CBD store next door. I was buying some used tires. I just throw some used ones on there, $20, $30. And while they're doing that, I run in the CBD place, and there's like this Armenian guy behind the counter. I'm like, yeah, tell me about your products. Who sent you? No, I'm getting my card. Who sent you? No, never mind. My wife needs something to sleep. Those over there. Just pointing at them. I'm like, all right, I'll grab a couple of these. They worked. I don't know what the feeling was, but they worked. You take it's a little gel, almost like a gel with sugar on it, like a gummy. Rip it in half. I took half. She took half. We fell asleep. But I want the real thing. I want the ganja. That's what I want. I want to buy it. I want to put money on the table. I want a red-blooded American look at me in the face and hand me a Ziploc bag or however they pass it to you of the Kush. It's got the hairs in it. The real nice, good-looking stuff. That's what I want to do. Now, I'll give you my flight plan. I'm going into Washington, D.C. I'll be there for probably an hour and a half. I don't want to say anyone, if you want to meet me at Terminal B, we can do the handoff. But and then we're flying straight into Vancouver. Now, Vancouver, all their medicine, and everything is basically free for Canadians, of course. But what about me as a United States citizen? I got my passport and everything. Can I walk into one of those dispensaries and buy? Yeah, let me get some of the purple nurple and the cotton candy sweet as gold. Let me see your Tootsie Roll. Let me get some of that too. And then can I get on the boat with it? Am I allowed to do that? Do I need to show something? No, I bought it over there. It's legal right there. Right there. I'm on your boat, but I bought it right there. There's Tommy. Wave to me, Tommy. Hey, man, what's going on? I just bought it from him. Can I bring it on there? Smoke it on the boat and stuff. Get an old Pepsi can, pop some holes in it. Have our little trip around Alaska. Save a little bit for the ride home. And then fly back. Oh, we're doing a red eye too. Ugh, flight's at 10:30 at night. You know what? Maybe because the boat comes to the dock at 8 o'clock in the morning, we got till 10:30 at night. Maybe we'll get hot. Well, knowing me, I'll fucking forget the flight. What time are we supposed to be there? Oh, fuck. Have to book another flight. But that flight goes into Chicago. I'm not walking anywhere in Chicago. And I think our layover is like, 2 hours. It's something reasonable. But do they have dispensaries in there too? Can I buy weed in Illinois? I say Illinois. It drives my wife, just one wife, crazy. I don't know, because I'm traveling the globe. I'm a globe trotter. I want to be a smoke trotter for the most part. So if you got an answer for that, leave us a message down in the comments below before we leave. We leave on the 29th. We fly out 6:30 in the morning. Oh, fuck. So if you're watching this video over on YouTube, or you can connect with us and contact us through the This Is 50 Facebook page. I told you the story about the guy or about the neighborhood that they're building a house behind us. And during my walk and stuff, I met one of the guys who was like mowing the area that his house is going to be at. And the story that he told me, Jesus Christ, get your shit together. And I'll dive into that when we come back. So stick around. I'll be right back. Hello. Yeah, it's working, right? Yeah. It's not mega. What other devices are using it? No, just the one. Maybe I don't have it cranked down as much, man. So I'm going to dive into this story and then wrap up the show. I know I was going to talk about sleeping in the nude. We'll see. We'll see how the story goes. And whether I feel like following it up after this story I tell you right now. So as I told you, I go for a walk now / jog. It's more of a jog with a little cool down in between now. So the initial exploration, the initial activity was a walk and return home. And now it's become a walk with a slight jog for a little bit and then come home. Now it's becoming more of a jog over the 3-week period. It's more of a jog with a walk cool down. So I'm going to say I go running every morning. I'm allowed to say that now. If I can run more than half of the trek that I'm on, I'm going to call it a run or a jog. Run, just my knees don't like to hear that word. And I was going up and down the steps here and I'm like, ooh, ache. Advil PM, take me away. That's why I can't remember half the shit in the morning anyways. So in the process, the neighborhood behind us, and I say neighborhood, it's small, individual. Some guy owns all the lots and he's selling them off one by one. It used to be corn. In the area that we're in, the corn that they grow is for cattle. It's a feed for dog food. It's not an edible corn. Like if you go out there and like, oh my God, a piece of corn. You grab it off the stalk and you bite it. It's like grabbing one of those plastic things around Thanksgiving time out of, the Walmart stores, out of the cornucopia. It's plastic. I know, big word. So they harvest it and then in the process, in the off season, they rotate their crops and they do cattle hay, which is different than horse hay. But that's what's behind our house. And they're selling off slowly, 3 acres here, 4 acres here, and they're putting houses on. They got one almost completely built house out there, and there's like 10 lots out there. They're not cleared or anything, just they clear this one house or clear the one lot and slap a house on it. And then they go right next door and they go, you want to buy this? Put a house on it. There is another house or another area. Some guy bought it, 3 acres. $89,000 for the acres. My wife looked up, she's fancy like that. She looked up the property, the records, and someone bought the 3 acres back there on the cul-de-sac. It's kind of like a pie wedge. So it's like really, really narrow in the front and then goes wide to away from the road. $89,000 for the 3 acres back there. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. That's 30 something, 20 something, $7,000 per acre. For nothing. And it slopes. You talk about slope for me walking up and down the hill. It slopes at least at 20 degrees as it gets to the back of the 3 acres. It just goes, just drops right off. And there's a whole, running water system and, drainage and plants and earth and spinning around and gravity and all that. But they've got markers out there. Now, when my dad first moved in here, we were going to build him a house on the backside of the property. So you have to have someone come out and survey the property so I know what those markers look like. And then when you decide on where you want the house, then you have to have the county come out because we're on a well and we're on septic and they have to figure out where to put a septic tank. Now here in North Carolina, it's got to drain. It's got to drain really well. And they must have dug 8, 9, 10 holes out there until they figured out where they can put a septic tank. So once they figured it out, they put, markers with blue ribbons on them. That's the only way I can describe it. And then the drain field and the backup drain field with pink markers on it. So as I'm making my walk and walking around and stuff, I see that they've got the property line marked out, the surveyor. Then I see the blue tassels on the stakes, and then I see the pink. I'm like, okay, this is about where the house is going to be. Now, someone's taking care of the property. They're mowing it down probably once every 2 weeks. Let's say that. Because it is grass. There's no one out there. Used to be hay. So hay's starting to come back up again. And the guy goes out there and mows it and stuff. And I saw an older man out there. And I say older man, older than my dad, probably. He's about 6'2", gray hair, gray beard, well kept, look somewhat professional. In farm clothes or shorts and a t-shirt, I guess is what I'm saying. Out there, and he was spraying like Roundup around the stakes. And then the, what do they call it, roadside? Hit the roadside part of his property on the cul-de-sac. Now, mind you, there's no sidewalks, there's no nothing. I mean, it literally is just a road, a big circle, concrete or asphalt they do up here. And then that's it. No lines, no electric, the little meter thing, not the meter thing, but the little, where they're always coming out there and they're checking, they're testing all the little wires and stuff. There's nothing out there. So the week goes on and I catch him out there again, and he's got his lawnmower, and he's backing the lawnmower off the thing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to ask this guy. I said, hey, dude, no, I said, good morning. He goes, hey, good morning. Good to see you again. I'm like, hey, yeah, I try to do this every day. He's like, well, you're, doing a good job. I said, is this your lot? He goes, yeah, that's my lot. I said, oh, wow, really cool. When you breaking ground on it? And he kind of goes, well, that's the thing. I said, oh God, here we go. He goes, it's kind of a waiting game. I'm like, well, what do you mean it's a waiting game? Now, this gentleman is easily 80 years old. I can tell by his skin. I can tell by his frail male 80-year-old physique, white male. I can tell he's over 80, or at least 80. He says, right now, my wife and I are living with my mother-in-law, and she's 97 years old. So I'm quickly doing the math. I'm like, okay. And we're waiting for her to pass. Could be any day now. So when you ask me when we're going to break ground, I don't know. It could be today or tomorrow. But we need her money to break ground on this. I said, oh, okay. So me trying to turn everything around to positive. I said, so do you got the plans and everything picked down? You got the layout of... Oh. He's like, oh, yeah, we got the builder. He's all ready. I said, can you put a deposit down on it or anything? He's like, again, we don't have the money. We don't have the money, and we're waiting for her to pass away. Because I asked about putting a deposit down if you could lock in prices. And he goes, the longer she lives, the more expensive this house is going to be because of the, prices of lumber and stuff. So then I got to thinking to myself as I'm looking at this guy. First of all, he's 80 years old. I don't know how old his wife is, didn't ask, but if she's 97 and that's his mother-in-law, I mean, there's some math, trigonometry there somewhere. I can't figure that out, but I don't want to have to sit there and do it right now. Next, you're 80 years old, man. You shouldn't be building a house, I guess is where I'm going with that. You shouldn't be building a house at 80 years old. What did you have? What do you have? Where did you come from at 80 years old, moving in with your mother-in-law? Now, I understand if, he's, part-time, if the mother-in-law was living with him, that'd be another story. He said, no, we are living with my mother-in-law. So something happened in his background. Now, he never mentioned anything about grandchildren or his children or anything like that. So I said, okay. I said, in my mind, I'm like going, well, don't tell him good luck. That would make absolutely no sense. That would be so, all right, well, good luck with her dying or something on you. But then, I put my earbuds back in, and then I'm left to my own thoughts. I'm like going, why is this guy 80 years old, living with his 97-year-old mother-in-law and waiting for her to die so he can have the money? Why didn't they just take her house? Who knows what kind of house? Maybe it's a mobile home. Maybe she's got, 50 acres and he doesn't want to live there. I don't know. It was just a weird conversation. Me, of course, sticking my nose in other people's businesses. But I was like, oh man, you're 80, man. Are you you're lucky that you don't die before she does. And then guess what? You're out of luck there, bub. So I don't know how maybe he sold his house. Let's go that way. Maybe he sold his house, took the proceeds and bought that lot. Because the lot, $89,000, you got to pay cash. They don't finance lots. You have to pay cash for lots. So maybe that's what he did. Maybe he sold his house, took some of the proceeds, because he had a brand new lawnmower too. So maybe he had a little bit left over, a little scratch on the side. Had a brand new lawnmower, brand new trailer for it, small trailer, 6x8. And he's like, yeah, I come out here and take care of the property so I can see the spikes and stuff. And once she dies and I sign the paperwork, it's go time. I'm like, okay, well, cool. And then I said, enjoy your day. It's a beautiful day out here in the Carolinas. I understand that the phrase Carolina sky, that blue sky, when you're out there walking on that in an area where there's just a single road with no buildings around you, and it's just cornfields or hay fields or wheat fields or anything like that, and you're just out there by yourself. There's no shade. I got to put sunblock on every day. I don't want to end up like my dad with a big hole in his head. But it's beautiful out there. And I said, well, enjoy your day. It's a beautiful day. He goes, you do the same. I said, I'll probably see you, sometime next week walking up down this road. But is that too late to start a new, moving out? I told you on last week's show that we're not moving out. We decided to take our money and invest it in our property and make our property a little bit more beneficial for us instead of, saying, oh, we don't like this anymore. Let's buy somewhere else. So I don't know. I don't know what his circumstances were, but nonetheless, he is 80 years old, waiting for his mother-in-law to die so he can build a house and live 4 years in it. We'll see. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm not going to get into this other stuff. I'll probably dive into it. You know what? I'm going to have a whole lot of more stories, different stories, when I come back from Alaska. So if you want to follow us over on YouTube, we appreciate you over there as well. And if you want to follow us on the Facebook page, I know I'm fiddling here. If you want to follow us on the Facebook page, you can do that as well. This is 50. All right, guys. My slogan I did last week was, I'm okay. See you, bye. I didn't like it, so I'm just going to say, okay, see you, bye. So hard to hold a pen. It's so hard because it's all swollen. I can't. Anyways, bye.